Fellas, lady fellas, F and Row Society, welcome to the Fantasy and Reality Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Spencer Tacker. Today in the ridiculously over-decorated studio, we'll be talking about positional rankings again. I'm going to throw all these running backs at you basically as fast as I can. I have the top 50. I'll try to give a brief explanation, but I want to run through these as fast as possible because your draft is coming up soon if you haven't already drafted. So I want you to just have my ranking, and I'll just basically throw them all at you and let you decide what you want to do. So my number one guy, I have Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to do fantastic. He's my number one this season because if Zeke doesn't sign right now, Christian McCaffrey is my number one. My number two, Saquon. Even though the offense is a little bit trashier than it was last season, Saquon should still eat, do everything he can. Hopefully he's more consistent in the touchdowns and not over 50 or under 5 yards per touchdown. So if he can stay afloat, he'll be great. My number three, I have Kamara, and I think he's going to be fantastic. Even though Latavius Murray might eat into his carries, hopefully he can keep those double-digit touchdowns like last season and be a dog. Number four, I have David Johnson because I think he should do well. They have a decent amount of weapons in Arizona with Kyler Murray coming in and throwing to all the receivers, but I don't think that they're top tier to make David Johnson a little less valuable, like my number five, Le'Veon Bell, and my number six, Nick Chubb. These guys are a bit below David Johnson because I feel like the weapons around each of them might be a little better, so they won't see as many touches. Like Nick Chubb at number six, he has so many weapons around him for Baker to throw to that he might not get as many carries as David Johnson will. And with Kareem Hunt coming back, I'm not worried about that with Kareem Hunt, but toward the end of the season, his numbers might drop off a bit because they might want to use Hunt a bit. So DJ might be the more consistent volume guy of those two guys. So that's why I have DJ at 4, Lev at 5, and Chubb at 6. At number 7 and 8 is where I put Zeke and Melvin Gordon because I needed to keep 50, and if they come back, they'll probably come back. It's just that when and for how much money type thing. I'm not worried about that. I just put them right here because if they play, they'll probably be top 10, hopefully. If they're in the top 10, that means they came back early enough to be a top 10 guy. So fingers crossed that that's what happens. So for number 9, I have Dalvin Cook. I think healthy, he's going to explode and do so well in that offense. If he can stay healthy and not let Alexander Madison, the Prez, come and take carries and stuff from him, then he should be really good. Number 10, I'm not that crazy high on him like a lot of people are this year, is James Conner. And I saw how he fell off at the end of the season because of his health and having the whole cancer thing and going through all the chemo and stuff that he went through. His body is not as healthy and 100% like he might have used to be before the whole cancer thing. So I think that that is going to play a role. Jalen Samuels is going to see more carries. That way they can keep Conner a bit more fresh throughout the entire season. Number 11, I have Todd Gurley, and he's just out of my top 10. Just like Conner, I wasn't too high on him, but as the season goes and gets closer, I'm getting a little higher on Gurley because his knee feels more secure to me. At first, I wasn't touching the guy. Now, maybe if he slots to me, like feelings change, things happen. So he might be a guy that I target if he's my second, maybe even third running back. If I'm like the first pick and he is on the swing and I can get 3 running backs, it'd be fantastic. So if I can do that, I will, obviously. But I can still possibly get him as a number 2. Number 12, I have Joe Mixon. I think he's going to do well, even though his offensive line is basically demolished. He would have been a bit higher, but like I said, with all the injuries and stuff going around, they're going to rely on him, and I'm not sure if he can get all that work done on his own. He, Andy Dalton, Tyler Boyd are going to have to basically run the show, and I'm just not sure that he can make it into the top 10 with that. 13, I have Aaron Jones. If he can get the volume, he's going to be great. It's just that, are they going to run? Because last season they were like last in rushing. So if they can actually get the attempts, then he can hopefully do well. I have high hopes for him, but I'm just not sure if that's going to come to fruition. Just like the next guy, Damian Williams, he has the opportunity. He just needs to execute. Number 15, got my boy Kerryon Johnson. Now, hopefully they keep this dude in on the third downs, unlike in the preseason. If they don't, I'm going to be so disappointed. But if they can give him the volume that he deserves, he has the talent. He just needs the opportunity. My next guy, another guy I'm super high on, Devonta Freeman. If he can stay healthy. He hasn't been all that unhealthy in years past. It's just last year, recency bias, everyone freaked out because he was a little injured. So if he can keep the concussions to a minimum and perform on that explosive offense, he's going to do fantastic. Number 17, I have Chris Carson. They're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to do a lot of stuff. So if he can produce and not lose too many carries to Rashad Penny, he's going to be great. Number 18, Leonard Fournette, another guy who, if he can stay healthy, is going to see a ton of volume. He's going to be a running dude. So if he stays healthy, he's going to be a fantastic running back. 19, I have Derrick Henry, another heavy, hard runner that can hopefully do the job if he can stay healthy. Number 20, I have David Montgomery, and if he has the talent, opportunity, he's going to be fantastic. I think he's going to do really well on the Bears. If they run enough to make him relevant, he's going to be the number one guy. If Cohen doesn't take too much from him, he should be a great guy for you to pick up. 21, I have Josh Jacobs, and he's one guy that I have no idea what he's going to do. He hasn't seen the full workload. He was a backup at Alabama to Damian Harris. And so if he can actually pull through and do what most people think he can, he's going to be great. I just don't know if he'll be able to do what everyone says. Oh yeah, he can do this. He's going to be fantastic. They're going to run the ball a lot. It's just like, will he be able to handle it? Just like Damian Williams. It's the opportunity is there, but is the talent there? 22, I have Mark Ingram. I think he's going to be the premier back. He's one of the top 15 paid running backs. Even though Lamar Jackson runs a lot, he might take some of the carries that Jackson would take, even though Jackson's probably going to break the Michael Vick's rushing record. For quarterbacks, I think that Ingram is still going to be a relevant guy to have on your team. 23, this is where I had to put Marlon Mack. He would be much higher on my list if not for the whole Andrew Luck retirement thing. Everyone basically suffered from that, so this is where he fell, unfortunately. 24, this is where I have Rashad Penny, because I think that if Carson can't do the job, Penny's going to be very valuable. If Carson gets hurt or anything like that, they're going to not split carries, but Penny's still going to see a lot of volume, so he could definitely be a valuable guy. 25, I have Tevin Coleman. I think he's going to be the starter. If Matt Breida or anyone else doesn't take the carries from him, he should be fantastic. That offense should be really good, so if Tevin Coleman can actually do the job, unlike last season where he couldn't quite pull it through, he should be really good. Number 26, Philip Lindsey. I don't think that he's going to do that great. I think that Russ Freeman is going to slowly take the carries from him, and they're going to switch to Philip being the premier back at the beginning of the season, to Royce being the premier back at the end of the season. So I'm not too hot on either one of those guys. I'll probably stay away from them just because of all the question marks in the backfield. 27, I have Kenyan Drake, because Kalen Ballage is right behind that dude, and I just don't know how much work they're going to give him. So it's a big question for me. 28 and 29, I have New England, James White at 28 and Sony at 29. And if Sony can do well, he's going to be great. James White's going to be that pass catching back. But I'm still a fan of Damian Harris. I think he's basically combined both of them and Rex Burkhead. He's an all-around guy. Hopefully he gets his chance. Not to knock on Sony for anything, but I just like Damian Harris a lot. So that's why I have them almost in the 30s. At 30, I have Latavius Murray. He's going to see volume. I think he's going to be a great guy. You can get him in the 7th, 8th round. he's going to see enough volume to be maybe a flex player because Kamara's not going to be the 100% workload guy that's going to see every single touch from the team. 31, I have Darryl Henderson. I think he's going to be decent if they start to use him and Malcolm Brown a bit in place of Todd Gurley. That way Gurley doesn't get hurt or aggravate that knee. They're going to have to use him, so he might see a decent amount of volume throughout the entire season. Not on a per game basis, but maybe as a whole, he'll be okay. 32, I have Miles Sanders. And I like Miles Sanders a lot, but all the running backs over there in Philadelphia, big question mark. Jordan Howard, all the other guys. So if Sanders can establish himself as that number one, he'll be a great guy in Dynasty. Fantastic, but as of now, in redraft, I'm not too sure. If he falls to you, great. Next, I have Tariq Cohen, another guy who I think will regress and not have as many opportunities because David Montgomery's there, which I'm high on Montgomery. So regression is coming. We'll just see how much. 34, I have Russ Freeman. And it might be a little too late in the season when they start to use him for him to jump Lindsey in the rankings. So that's why I have him a tad bit lower than Lindsey. 35, I have Austin Ekeler. And I think he should do a decent job. He's not a full workload carrying type of guy. So he and Justin Jackson will have to split possibly if Melvin Gordon decides that he doesn't want to come back. He might come back halfway through the season or so, which makes Ekeler a tad bit less valuable. But he'll be more valuable than Jackson if Melvin Gordon were to come back. 36, I have Adrian Peterson, and I think that he is going to do a decent job. I have Darius Geis right there with him, so if Geis can do the things that he needs to do to stay relevant and be a fantasy guy, he can do it. But it's if he'll stay healthy with all the things surrounding him. So if he can't, AP will be right there to pick the ball up and continue what he was doing before. Number 38, I have Jalen Samuels. And just like with a few others, he's going to be decently relevant because I like him a lot because I'm not too high on Connor. I mean, Connor's going to do well, but I'm just not super crazy about him, just like the Gurley thing. His backups will still be relevant. So I think Jalen Samuels is going to see a decent amount of work. 39, I have Duke Johnson because the whole Lamar Miller ACL tear. Duke Johnson probably won't be the premier back, but he's going to get a lot of work. 40 and 41, I have Peyton Barber and Rojo. I just don't care for them all that much. They're going to do okay, but I mean, I don't think they'll be surprising. 42, I have Ito Smith. I think he's going to see an okay amount of workload, maybe every once in a while. If Devonta Freeman comes off the field. If Freeman stays healthy, I don't see Ito doing very much. But if Freeman were to get hurt or something, Ito might actually get an opportunity. He might do something unlike last season, but who knows. 43, I have Dion Lewis. I think he's going to be a really good guy, pass-catching back, and I like passing-catching backs. So if Dion Lewis can see the volume from Mariota, then he should be a decent PPR flex spot in deep leagues. Another guy, Chris Thompson, number 44, a pass-catching back. Basically the same as Dion Lewis. So that's kind of why I have them close together. I think they're going to see similar volume with having a starting running back take most of the carries and then having them be a pass-catching back, third downs, things like that, screens. I think they're going to fall about in the same spot. 45, I have Damian Harris. I had him a bit higher, but as of late, Sony's doing better. James White is getting most of the work for passing. So I'm high on Damian Harris, but maybe not this season. In season long, he might not work out, but in Dynasty, he should definitely be a good pickup. Number 46, Nyheim Hines, another guy who is a pass-catching back. He's so low because of the whole Andrew Luck thing. He'd be a tad bit higher if Luck was starting, but I think Brissett can still find him. But I don't think he'll put up the same amount of numbers. That's why he's so low. 47, Devin Singletary. I have him so low even though I'm high on him because we don't know who's going to get the start with all the running backs. Frank Gore will probably still see a decent amount. So Singletary have to beat them out and be that number one. I'm not sure if it'll happen this season, but hopefully next. Like I said, for other guys in Dynasty, that should be valuable, but this year, who knows? Raquel Armstead, I have at 48. If Leonard Fournette doesn't get the job done, Armstead will. They're very similar backs, hard-nosed, big guys run over you. So if Fournette gets hurt, Armstead could step in and be a very valuable back and be higher on this list. But as of now, as a backup, he's right here. Number 49, I have another backup, Justice Hill. And I like him a lot, but like I said earlier, Ingram and Jackson will get most of the rushes. So Justice Hill might see something every once in a while. I'm not worried about Gus Edwards and Kendall Dixon. So if Justice Hill can get work every once in a while, he should be a decent guy. And the last guy on my list, I have Alexander Madison. The Prez, I think that he's going to be worked decently well. But if Dalvin Cook goes down, this guy's going to shoot up in this ranking right here at the end of the season. And so he's going to be a very valuable guy. I like him. He does really well. He's been showing out a lot in preseason and in practice and training camp and whatnot. So if he can continue what he's doing and he has the opportunity, if hopefully not, God forbid, Dalvin Cook get hurt, then Madison will step up, go from BP to Prez, and then kill it in that spot. But that was as quickly as I could with giving a tad bit of information. My top 50 running backs and their positional ranking, how I think they're going to finish at the end of the season. So, as always, tell me what you think. If you thought somebody was too high, too low, where'd you have everyone? Let me know. We need to communicate. So, as always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Please leave your comments, topic suggestions, questions down there in the comment section. We'll talk about stuff. Please remember to tell everyone about us. Remember, sports are supposed to be enjoyed together. So when you spread the word, tell someone about us, talk about us, anything you can, grow the community, and smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button so we can keep giving you as much content as we can. But lastly, God bless America and God bless fantasy football. Take care.